So the story of what I was going to tell you about was last year I was actually hunting elk antlers out west by the Nevada border, and I had parked my four-wheeler down the bottom and walked up. Then I got up about halfway up, and I was just looking for gold, looking for quartz veins structures, and I ended up hearing something. Sorry, my allergies are bad, but I heard something that changed my life. I've never heard anything like it in my life. And I just was sitting there walking, and I hear this just, I mean, it went on, and it was so loud. It was like off the movies. And anyway, it put the fear of God in me. I had a 22 Plinker, not my 44 like I have now. So I was scared. Horses, Mustangs started going berserk. Um, as the Mustang started just going off all directions, there was Mustangs just making noise, bit both directions, and I knew. And there was crows that flew up off the top of this ridge, at the base of this Pine Mountain. I mean, nobody's ever there. It's private on the top, but nobody ever goes up there. Public land all around it. So I called my brother. He said, "How far is your four-wheeler?" I said, "It's probably about a mile away down the bottom." He said, "Well, you best not turn around now because whatever it is can get you." So I pulled my pistol out, my 22. Then I go walking up the ridge after it. Scared the hell out of me. I was scared to death. But I knew I had to keep going forward because if I turned around, I was dead. There's nobody there. There's nobody within. I'm 2 hours from anywhere. Rugged mountain range, middle of nowhere. So the crows were circling still, and as I went through a cedar trees, tree to tree to tree, I got a video of that. Real grainy, real crappy video, old phone. So I kept pushing up to it, and by the time I got to where I heard it, the video even says, "This is where I heard it come from, was the top of this knoll," and the crows were just they were just circling, waiting for me to get killed up there. Scared the living daylights out of me. Because it was something I've never heard. It wasn't a horse, it wasn't human. It was bad, it was big, and it was loud. And I'm half deaf, and it just stopped me in my tracks. It echoed they went on for a minute, this roar. So I go to where it's at, and I got it on video, and I look over, and there's an antler laying there, elk antler. So I was like, screw him, he wants to fight, he's going to get it, So I was going to fight him with my elk antler. I couldn't figure out how I'm going to fight him and carry my antler. So I turned the phone off, kept going up, found the other side. And then from that point forward, I just yelled at him and said, if you want to go, let's do this right here. I don't know what you are, but you're a pretty big amigo, apparently. And, I'm just, this little guy. You want to fight an ancient war between our peoples, let's do it. But do it now, because I'm not going to get ambushed. And I think it understood what I was saying. Because, I mean, I'm the first. If you look at the way I look, I'm walking up in there, and they haven't seen a Native American in probably 100 years. The last Paiute walked out of there, turn of century. I heard the stories. They actually did. They were the last band of free Native Americans, but they know who they are. That's what's scary. Is they know who they are, and they're not bears. I thought it was bears. Oh, the year before I thought it was bears. We had an encounter there too. I'll tell a story about that, but that was a pretty spooky encounter. But we made the truck, luckily, and I finished on the encounter with it. Wasn't afraid of my pistol. Kept roaring at us, both of them, throwing rocks. But anyway, I know where they're at. And I'm going to try to go after them this year. I don't think anybody has the guts. I don't think anybody believes in these things because of Sasquatch hunters. And we're going squatching. I'm going to squatch away. The problem is squatching doesn't work. Sasquatch is a whole different being, completely different being. What I'm dealing with, if you're a Christian and you believe in the Bible, you believe in the Nephilim. You know they're there. You can't be a Christian without believing that there will be giants in these days, the last days, like in the time of Noah. They're underground. They're in the ground. They live in the earth. And the war between our peoples ended with them being basically destroyed. The Choctaws destroyed them. I read the story about that when they fought them. They were cannibals. They were eating Native Americans. They were eating human beings. And because they're two different species. I mean, humans are humans and Nephilim are Nephilim. They're either a half god, half human, or they're angel, pure angel, fallen angel, whatever you want to call them. So they're here. They live forever. They didn't die. They still exist. I mean, Noah lived 800 years, right? People used to live 800 to 1,000 years, documented. So these Nephilim probably live thousands of years. They may live 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years. I mean, if they reproduced, they don't, in heaven, they were not allowed to reproduce. If you're Christian, you understand this. They were not allowed to reproduce. There was angels that were men and women. They're God's sons and daughters. They were not able to reproduce. So when they found the daughters of man attractive, the angels came down here and took them as wives and created the Nephilim. They had to watch their sons and daughters and children go to war, 500-year war. It's in the Bible. So they still walk the earth even after the time of Noah. It's clearly stated, and they're underground. They live inside the earth. These are angelic beings. They have the power and strength of something you've never dealt with. It's not a Superman video. It's not a kryptonite takes them out, blah. These things are way, 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 way beyond that and way old. They fought wars in heavens. They know what's happened. They're not afraid of man. The Native Americans beat them